wanna drama, only venom when I get my dues. Respect, I'm the next tycoon. Got a pad full of greens, couple M's my soon. Unbeliever, do you see the confidence? Got some people waiting for me on the fence. I live ever, never see me on the fence. Best believe it when I win, it's common sense. I'm designed to fight defeat, all demise. The best me, no fear, no compromise. 100 degrees, I breathe more to life. You should disconnect and throw in the wise. And a hand that's in this. Gotta back it up a high percentage. Got a heart in my sleeve, non-stop. Stepping up to the sea, more shots. Getting those. I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me. Watch me dive on free, and it's my time. Up in the stars. You'll never forget me. But not holding back on the side. Only get better with time. Ready to own what is mine. Tonight, I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me. Yeah, I never wait up. Flowers say so they coming on the way up. A true fighter's what they always been afraid of. Cards had it close on my circle when I lay up. Switch the game every quarter like a time zone. Aim for the bus, tryna build up to this mind zone. Pave the way with only items that I might own. Imagine what I'm about to do, be an icon. Ain't a problem, just the haters that I might know. It's a night show, the way I'm about to make a movie with these lights. No, the one they be like me, they can try. All gold, everything when I write. Can repeat it, every legend gotta fight. A new world, when I flip, make it tight. Ain't nobody doing minutes how I like. Seat buckled up, going up like a bike. I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. Up in the sky, into the light. Watch me dive on free, and it's my time. Up in the stars. With every stride, our future's bright. Cause I'm on to the next. The way I shape shifts makes them call me a threat. Running on this path, never done, no regrets. There is nothing you can do when my face on the set. You're in front of the best. Different league if you wanna get to me. I game and pedigree. Yeah, I only got a picture on the centerpiece. I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me. Watch me dive on free, and it's my time. Up in the stars. You'll never forget me. But not holding back on the side. Only get better with time. Ready to own what is mine. Tonight, I'm alive, unleashed in the fire. Out in the wild. You can never stop me.
The CCS Advanced League. I am Redakted, joined tonight by RyChainz, and we have ourselves one heck of a match. It is the Nameless Goobers on the blue side against Bing Chillers, Younglings Kittens on the red side here. And RyChainz, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, ready for some late season action here. Both of these teams in the top half of their group. So they're actually tied with a series score of 4-3 each. So, this is going to be an important one for seeding. And, I'm ready to see some League of Legends today.
I am too. And yeah, absolutely. As we are in week 8 of our advanced league here. So pretty much the standings are starting to solidify. There's a lot of teams here still looking to climb up and get a better seeding. But yeah, as we approach these last couple of weeks here, these matches are going to be that much more important. Depending on where you land will determine your outcome come playoffs and the teams you might face.
So it could be Rakan, it could be Thresh. We'll have to see
Thresh was
what.
banned actually.
Okay, Thresh was banned. Oh yeah. Okay, it can't be Thresh. Uh, could
Could
be
be
Rakan. Or
Nautilus.
could be Rakan or Nautilus though. Yeah, those are
Lulu.
those are the most likely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. As we are on the new patch as well too. So Alistar did get buffed here. Haven't seen him much, though I haven't played much League recently because approaching the end of my semester here, so it's grind time. But we did see him in the top lane in our intermediate league on Wednesday. And they did win that game. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get some new shenanigans here with these picks coming through. But instead, the Goobers decide to lock in their 80 carry mid and jungler respectively. So that's pretty interesting. But I think that just shows where they're prioritizing on their team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine that we'll get a mid pick here. Maybe not, I guess, as the Ezreal is being hovered by Bing Chillers. Usually you see just the mimicked draft, but we are not going to get that this game. Instead, the bot lane and the jungle for Bing Chiller is going to be picked up there. We'll see what these R4 bans are. It could be, support and top lane are the two remaining lanes that Nameless hasn't picked up yet. So I assume mostly top lane bans. I mean, it seems a little bit strange to throw your last bans on support because you want to last pick top anyway. So
Yeah. So my question for you, RyChainz, is while these bans are coming in here, what do you think both teams might look to pick here in the second phase, given what they already have?
well, I mean, Bing Chiller is going to pick this a mid laner R4. Just because they already know the matchup. Raise Cold is the sub, like we mentioned, coming in for today for Bing Chillers. Plays a lot of Cassiopeia as well. You see that would target band away in the first rotation. With Syndra, you can play a lot of things. Victor is fine. Aurelia is really good into mages. I don't know if we'll see that. That's a bit spicy, but if not like something spicy, probably just a control mage like the Victor who can scale up, or even Oriana, honestly. And then
Okay, yeah. Go
then
ahead.
give support. I mean, give top counter pick, whatever they like to play. Stet likes to play a lot of Gangplank, so that's on the table. It would mean that the team is pretty squishy, but we'll have to see what it goes for. Okay, there we go, Victor.
Victor locked in here for the youngling kitten side. So lots of control. Poke as well coming out from the youngling side here. But RyChainz, that makes me a little bit nervous in terms of durability for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just looking at the composition right now of Nameless, they have the Jarvan. They are ready to go in at a moment's notice. And I don't see anyone that can really absorb the ultimate well from Bing Chillers. Add on the Amumu there, and you have a lot of engage coming in from this Nameless side. And if one of the carriers from Bing Chillers steps up a little bit too far, they're going to get one-shotted.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of control, a lot of CC AoE, and just wow. Just a
Ooh.
lot of things to keep the Bing Chillers from running away. Sure, you have a lot of mobility and whatnot, but there's only so much you can do when you have a Counter Strike, Bandage Toss, Curse of the Sad Mummy, a Stun, a J4 Cataclysm, a Featherstorm Blade Collar combo coming on down to your head here. So, and you only have Flash once, at least for until a 5-minute period cools down as they hover that last pick here.
Malphite, yeah. I mean, that does cover the lack of tank that I talked about, but I don't know. We'll have to see how this matchup goes in the top lane. I mean, right now, after the Jax rework, a lot of his damage is actually magic. Interestingly enough, so maybe Malphite's not the best pick into the Jax, but it will give at least a front line to
Do
Bing
you think
Chillers.
that Malphite is more so? I mean, right? Like as we know, red side and R5 is typically the counter pick role. But do you think they more so maybe pick the Malphite for themselves and not for the Jax because they're just like, all right, we need some type of front line and we need as well as a go button too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be like that's very reasonable. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it helps their comp more than it hurts the enemy comp.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
probably the best way to say it.
Exactly. So, with that being said, now that we have our drafts completed here, let me ask you, right, Chains, for the Goobers, or just for the entire game as a whole, what do we expect to see in the early game here? Like, whose comp do we expect to see try and take advantage of this early game tempo, and who do we expect to see, just try and ride it out, and obviously scale as best as they can?
Well, a lot of the times in the early game, you want to look at where the junglers are going to be, what the junglers are going to do if they can get these lanes ahead early. And when you look at these two junglers, Jarvan obviously is going to have the upper hand in that, able to gank quite effectively early game. And, you know, one or two kills in the early game, one or two ganks successfully is really all you need to kind of snowball that lane. I like Nameless's comp early just better, just because they have some CC, they have that pick potential. That's not to say they're not going to scale well. I mean, the Jax, Syndra, the Zaya all scale quite well there.
Hmm.
On the other side with Big Chillers, they're looking to scale more. They don't really have much early game presence here. Malphite is okay. Victor's not that great in the early game. Really relies on getting those items to scale up and do damage, and Ezreal kind of the same way. So I'm definitely going to give the early game to Nameless here. I think if they can control the early game and get leads for their laners, and they should be able to take this game pretty easily just with their CC and the increased power they have early game.
Or even going even, right? Like, you don't necessarily have to feed your opponent to have good scaling into the mid late game. But even if you go even, I feel like for the Nameless composition, they just have a lot of tools in their kit that they can use to punish the Chiller's side here, because I'm thinking, I just realized as well that it should be a Zaya a Mumu bot lane here, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. That bandage toss, it's 2 charges now. So if he misses once, he can connect another time. Zaya sends out a Q with a couple of feathers. That blade caller comes through once again. You're rooted, and that's at least a 2 to 4 second stun. If that combo lands, that's more than enough to take out an Ezreal or a Karma, if the combo connects. And then J4 on top of that with the knockup. So for the Chillers, I'm very concerned for them. What I'm getting to is I'm concerned for them at these neutral objectives here, because I don't know to approach the neutral objective if the Goobers are already there. I feel like they might need to try and get some picks before they start these neutral objectives, so that way it's an unfair fight for them and it's a bit easier for them to navigate.
Yeah, if they want to navigate into these neutral objective fights, they have to get there first. A lot of the times when you're playing compositions that have relatively decent poke, you want to kind of get there first and set up so that it's harder for the enemy to get into. You can at least try and poke them down before they engage. So I definitely agree with you on that aspect of it. But, we are getting to the end of this champion select here, and we've got all of the players locking in their champions.
Wait a minute. Do you see that?
Oh, interesting.
They have till 20 to swap, but there's no way, right?
I mean, it
There's
seems pretty strange if this is actually the case, because Malphite is technically a counter matchup into Jax, but
And that's
I
20.
guess
Yeah.
not. Yeah, Karma's.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They swapped.
okay. Whoa, 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 whoa.
put me down, but I never cried out. Why me? We're from the wise. Don't put worth inside somebody that ain't tried. They said I wouldn't make it out alive. They told me I would never see the rise. That's why I gotta get 'em every time. Gotta watch 'em bleed too. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Raise it to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far and start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Raise it to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far and start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. Don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back for game 1 of the CCS Advanced League. And we already have some early game action, so I won't even get to introduce the game, but I think you already know what it is. Or actually, I will. It is the Nameless Goobers on the blue side against the Bing Chillers Youngling Kittens on the red side here. And RyChainz, I know you've seen me cast before, so I'm sure you know what I like to ask all my color casters, right?
Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna go Hex Tech. I'm gonna go Hex Tech for today.
Oh no, that's not. No, I don't ask him that. That's Oshi. I ask him about
Oh.
runes and summoners.
Oh, okay. That too. Listen, there's a lot of people asking me a lot of things. All right,
Nah,
I
you're
get
good. You're
confused
good. This
sometimes.
is like our second cast ever together. So
I think everything's pretty standard. I think Graves Ghost is a bit interesting for Mel Stixie, but or at least a lot of people take Flash, but Ghost's been rising in priority a lot. So other than that, nothing really too crazy. I think you need the double, defensive summoners for Younglin and Oreo Murder in the bottom lane.
yeah, and speaking of just the bottom lane and in general, both junglers have started on the top side of their map here. So we might look to see them make a gank towards this bot side of the map, or even what's the word I'm looking for? Contest over that scuttle there. But we'll see, as currently SHD and Stare are trading a few blows here in the top lane, but nothing too serious. And there is that ward there I forgot to mention, just disappeared, that was on the blue side of the J4's jungle there. So they did have some early information as to where he started.
Yep, and you can see both junglers now clearing towards their bottom side. Early level 2 came in for SHD in the top lane, so got a nice trade onto Stet there. Couldn't blow any sums, but both of these junglers are going to be meeting at at the bottom side around 3:15, 3:30. So hopefully we get some action. I mean, I wanted to see what Red Milk Tea could do in this game and just try and get some of these lanes ahead early. No level 2 cheese that we see from Jarvan every once in a while, but for the time being, just a lot of trading back and forth in this mid lane, in this top lane, and early scuttle. Prio at least is over to Nameless right now.
Yeah, but Random Capitals playing
Oh.
playing roulette with his health bar there, as there is just a little bit of pause. It looks like the Rare ADC was having some audio issues. Should be concluding here pretty soon, I think maybe. But I guess in the meantime, while we have this pause, let's take a look at the current map state. Yeah. So
Sure.
Mouse Dixie in his blue jungle working on that Gromp. Meanwhile, Red Milk Tea looks like, I'm not sure. Can I move my map when it's paused? Oh no,
No.
nothing moves. Okay. I was trying to see if Red Milk Tea was either going up towards the scuttle or looking towards the bot lane for a gank here, as we are back in game as the bandage toss goes wide. I don't know if they saw the J4. I don't see any pings coming out, so I don't, but they are aware of where he is now, as he did just walk over that ward. So they should be aware, as we have the
Gotta get our
client pause. Yep.
Gotta get our little pause in here. The classic after got a little buffer action going on.
Exactly.
Interestingly enough, though, Mouse 60 working their way up, you know, taking this crab. I think Red Milk Tea was just in that river a little bit too early. The crab hadn't spawned yet. So they had the prio, but, you know, unfortunately the crab hadn't spawned, so they weren't able to pick it up, which means Mouse 60 is able to come in, swoop it up, take that crab away, and then Random Capitals having to TP back mid after, I believe, buying the D ring.
I was like, Random Capitals. Took me a second to remember what lane he was in. I was looking for him, like, where's the D ring? What D ring? Oh, Doran's ring. Haven't heard it called that before. So
Really?
like, no. I've always just called it its full name. Like I said,
fair enough.
No, you're good. You're fine. I'm learning new acronyms. You know, us league boomers, we got to keep up with the Zoomers too, man. You feel me? But
Well, I'm the person if you need the slang. apparently.
Got you. Well, yeah, Scatter of the Week goes wide from Random Capitals, as the Gravity Field does come in and lock up the Syndra there for just a bit, trading those HP bars, but both middle laners are a-okay for the time being. Junglers, Mouse Dixie on the top side might look for a potential gank onto SHD there. Meanwhile, Red Milk Tea just on his blue side once again, as the bot lane of Rare ADC and Bowling have put a lot of pressure onto Younglin and Oreo Murderer down there. But that's expected, right? It's in a Mumu Zaya lane, so like,
Yeah,
Oreo
it's absolutely like,
oops, sorry. Yeah, Oreo Murderer and Younglin still fighting back a little bit here though with that poke. Sorry about that.
yeah, no problem here. As we approach the 5.5 minute mark, just taking a look at the overall, you know, CS right now. A big lead for Stet, but obviously you saw that wave pushing in. SHD is going to be able to catch that and equalize a little bit, but early leads in this top lane for the Malphite here, and because of that lead, you see a little bit of a gold advantage leaning towards being chillers here. I wonder, you know, Red Milk Tea has not been able to get anything off, and it is starting to get a little bit concerning. Able to stop that back there at least and delay Raze Cold, who doesn't have the TP, cannot get back to lane for a while. Instead, you know, can't take that back and is going to be delayed just that little bit longer. But I'm still, you know, kind of looking for Red Milk Tea to fully commit to a gank, right? Try and either blow a summoner spell, get a kill, do something, open up the dragon for Nameless, because, you know, I think they got to start looking for something soon.
And speaking of dragon, there was some pings coming out there from Mouse Dixie on the kitten side here. We'll be looking for that first Drake. Let me make sure it's actually a crowd and cloud. Okay, it is a cloud, because, you know, Riot likes to troll us with the images sometimes. So I had to make sure it was actually a cloud Drake for once. Because the cloud Drake icon is either like Chemtech, sometimes Hextech, or the actual cloud. Instead, using that ultimate there, knocking up SHD, we have a fight on two sides of the map here, though.
Dragon's just going to go over.
Yep, Kittens will be able to just take the dragon. Goobers were not in a very comfortable position to contest the Drake just yet. They might be looking to contest the Scuttle, though. Red Milk Tea and Bowling Gamer are able to get it, but will they be able to get out here? Let's see if their greed is going to cost them their life. Only their flash, at least. Mouse Dixie, though, with the ghost chasing random capitals here, dashes forward, gets the autos. Will not be enough, though, as Mouse Dixie or Race Code was not there to assist. So, no first blood on the map just yet.
And that's really good timing by being chillers there to start up that dragon because they had the bot lane priority. They had Rare ADC and Bowling Gamer push under their tower with a big wave, which allowed for the Ezreal and the Karma to rotate up. And with Red Milk Tea getting, I guess, just getting caught a little bit out of position there, a nice dragon sneak away for being chillers there.
Yeah, but I was very shocked that they were able to just take the scuttle away from Mouse Dixie and the kittens. It was 3 versus 2. You thought maybe that might have been a fight they would look to take. I mean, and sure they did afterwards, but I mean it's just scuttle. Like, you know, there's 2 of them on the map, and so you're not losing too much, but just a little bit surprising. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean I think a lot of this early game has been a little bit surprising here. Just seeing this early lead go over to big chillers, not quite what I expected, at least coming into this game. I thought that Nameless would kind of have the priority in this early game, but you know, we're seeing quite the opposite right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this time, Mouse Dixie working his way on the top side of the map here will be spotted by that control ward. SHD now rotating a little bit. We're seeing a lot of pings coming out here from the Goobers side. They're working on Shelly here. Mouse Dixie dashed over and gets chomped up, stunned up, CC'd up. First blood for the Goobers. He went for the steal and instead was sent to the gray screen.
Yeah, and just a great job there. Again, on the other side now by Nameless, getting the rotate up first from their support. The Bowling Gamer was on that play first, and SHD had the wave, you know, at least favorable, so was able to move down first to the play. Mouse 60 tried to go for the hero play, but couldn't find anything.
Oriole
And
Murderer looking to root up rare ADC, though. He will use the Feather Storm. Youngling with the arcane shift out of the way so he doesn't get stunned up. This ADC, this bird should be dinner, and Ezreal will get the kill.
Oh man, so unfortunate. Just a little bit over aggression there. Didn't have any vision in the river at all, and you know, not the callback. The feather collar or blade collar and then flashing late
Yeah,
was just rough. I mean that's a disaster to see. Mid lane
Race Cold here using that Chaos Storm, battling it out with random capitals. There's a lot of damage coming through, but the flash from random able to keep his life. Ooh, I honestly thought capitals was gonna get that at first, but that Victor damage will surprise you.
Yeah, level 9 now. Both of these mid laners sitting on almost identical items. Raised Cold had the Dark Seal, while Random Capitals had the Doran's Ring. But yeah, really close. I mean, you saw Raised Cold pull that damage out, get that 1v1 back in their favor real quickly there. And you know, next dragon's gonna be that mountain, which is gonna be up in about a minute. I've been kind of disappointed with this Amumu support, at least, you know, aside from roaming up first. I think just hasn't really gotten much done.
Really? In terms of like for the entire team or just in general? Because I think
Just at least in this lane.
Oh, in this lane, I think Bowling's done a good job. I mean, they've put a lot of pressure onto Youngling and Oriole Murderer here, no?
Yeah, I mean, they put pressure on, but I think that's just like they haven't been able to get anything or, you know, rotate up to. They were a bit late to the rotation because they got their wave pushed in.
Understood. Yeah,
It's,
I mean,
it's a good pick. It's going to be good later as well.
yeah.
But
oh yeah, that Karma Poke really putting a lot of damage onto Bowling too, because this is Amumu support. Doesn't have those items in his inventory as quickly as an Amumu jungle would. So yeah, he's definitely feeling the pain from this Karma here, the Karma Poke, the Ezreal Poke. As taking a look at the both junglers here, Mountain Drake actually spawning in 10 seconds, and the kittens once again are rotating forward it. The Goobers have just decided, you know what? Like you said, RyChainz, they do have the more Scaling top
there
as
it is.
Bowling Gamer flashes forward with the stun. Curse of the Sad Mummy. Oh, the Syndra ultimate is not able to take him out, but the Unstoppable Force will take out Red Milk Tea. The Kittens find the jungler of the Goobers here.
I mean, bowling gamer must have heard me or something, because at the first moment flashes in, tries to find the pick on to I believe it was Raised Cold, but you know, unfortunately Raised Cold lives with 1 HP. Red Milk Tea goes down on the backside of the team fight, and this is going to be Dragon number 2 going over to Bing Chillers.
Yeah, and like it's really interesting because I mean, actually it's not, in the sense that no, look, I was about to say something, but then I'm redacting that. I'm retracting that because, like we said, this poke comp is doing exactly that. They've been poking out the Goobers a lot before they really commit to like a full-on team fight, and that's what's working for them. Meanwhile, for the Goobers though, like we said, they are, you know, that S word. They want to scale. They're probably going to be way more effective and harder to kill at 2 to 3 items here, as Stet will have to expend his flash and taunts the Goobers just a little bit in the top lane, as Shelly has been launched here to get some plates onto SHD Red Milk Tea, who dashes forward a little bit to harass the Kitten's side. They just want to make sure Shelly gets the charge off, and she will. And now both junglers looking to back off here just a little bit, but still hovering around, as Stet is kind of low. So Red Milk Tea might look for a potential pick.
We'll see what happens. You're at Red Milk Tea lurking into the enemy jungle with SHD and random capitals here. Maybe trying to take away this red buff. Mouse 60's here. No vision though, as
wow, he just walks in and he's able to get it as the Unstoppable Force comes through, as well as the Chaos Storm. Red Milk Tea able to get out. Flash forward from Oreo Murderer here, who was looking for a potential route onto Capitals or somebody from the Goober side. Not able to get it, but let me wait. Who got the red buff? Let me see. Oh no, Red Milk Tea actually got it. Yeah. So the heist is complete from the Goobers side. The Kittens get nothing but lint.
I mean, yeah, it costs all summoners from your top laner and flash from your jungler, but red buff secured, I guess. I mean, I've, you know, we talked about it a bit. You talked about it a little bit earlier, but just how Big Chillers have been playing this early game, you know, getting poked down, surviving potential threats to them and engages. I mean, they're playing it really well here, and I mean, I see Rare ADC has completed that Kraken Slayer. I've been seeing a lot of Zaya's go Kraken Slayer, at least more than before, but I don't know. I still like Gale Force personally.
Yeah, I can see the train of thought for both sides. The true damage coming through for Zaya, because, you know, Stet and even Graves to a certain extent can be a little bit tanky, as Oreo Murderer just walks into his death here.
There we go.
Sent to the gray screen. That was a miscalculated play there from the Oreo Murderer.
And you know, Bowling Gamer finds the bandage toss there, and I feel like that should have just been happening like all lane, to be honest with you, or at least all early game. But you know, Oreo Murder and Younglin playing far enough back, using their range advantage, did a good job of just kind of avoiding that situation.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Oreo Murderer. I think he was trying to poke, but you can't get too aggressive underneath the enemy's turret and into an Amumu as well. And like we said, that Zaya Amumu combo of CC literally will keep you in place for at least 2 to 4 seconds. And when you're a Karma or an Ezreal, that's pretty much death.
Yeah, especially when you have Curse of the Sad Mummy now, it just adds even more to that time. So feels pretty good there. Next dragon is Ocean, spawning in 1 minute and 15, but Mouse Dixie has turned their sights on to this Rift Herald here. Gonna get sniffed out, perhaps, because they're around.
Yep,
yeah, there we go.
The Goobers side has now headed up here. Red Milk Tea and the rest of the Goobers looking to contest this second Rift Herald. Oreo Murderer getting chunked out for half his health bar again, and the Kittens will just have to retreat for the time being.
Nameless secures the second Rift Herald of the game here. They're down on the Dragons, but they're up on the Rift Heralds. Gold lead right now in their favor by about 800. And, you know, it's not really due to any CS leads, just due to the plates that they're able to take. I believe they got 3 in the bottom lane, 2 or 3 in the top lane from the Rift Herald, and Rare ADC just has to back. Just gets raw Chaos Storm there.
Yeah, Rare ADC, you are not allowed to play in the bot lane anymore. SHD, that was very that was very bold. You just tried to take an empowered recall in front of Stet there. Did you really think he was gonna let you do it? But you know, one of the core things in League of Legends, you try and see if your opponent will let you get away with it. As the Kittens are now working on what is the 3rd Drake for them if the Goobers do not contest this, and that will put them on sole point if they're able to get this. Bowling Gamer, Red Milk Tea, Random Capitals, they're all looking for a potential flank. He will be able to steal it with the dash. Will he be able to escape now? He's working on Estet, uses that unstoppable force there on the bottom side of the map. They're able to take out the jungler already and the Amumu. The Kittens are looking for more, but the Goobers, I think that's still a worthy sacrifice for them. They've stopped Soul Point and they've gotten the Ocean Drake.
2 kills in exchange for a dragon there. And if you're Nameless, you know, you stop the soul scaling at least for a little bit longer. You get an extra 5 minutes on that timer. And, you know, interestingly enough there, that was an outnumbered fight. Stet teleported down, but SHD didn't. And that was, you know, kind of what caused the fight to go as it did after the dragon was stolen there. And another thing I want to point out, Bing Chillers getting to the objective first once again and just making it hard to walk in. I believe it was Rare ADC and Bowling Gamer were they got Malphite ulted in that bottom tri bush, could not walk in or participate in the fight at all just because of the positioning power that Bing Chillers had in that fight. So, you know, we talked about it and they're executing it quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell sometimes our I was about to call it the Novice League. Sometimes our advanced gameplay looks like Novice League gameplay, but I think you can tell these players and their communication is pretty on point for the most part right now. Estet using that ultimate onto Random Capitals again, and that's a lot of damage coming out here from the mountain as the Syndra will have to retreat for the time being. J4 and Mumu are in tow though, looking to contest. The knockup coming through does go wide a little bit, but Red Milk Tea on the chase. The stun coming out from the Karma here to lock in the Jacks. The mountain goes down first. That sent to the gray screen, and the rest of the Kittens will just work on these minions in the bot lane. So both teams looking to take out the side laners, but only the Goobers were able to complete the kill.
The life of the top laner getting 5 men by the enemy team on both sides of the map this game. Unfortunately for Bing Chillers, theirs goes down. They aren't able to pick it up, but Bowling Gamer.
Ooh, Bowling Gamer with the bandage toss, looking for a pick here. I thought he was going to do the entire combo, but his ultimate is actually on cooldown still, only about halfway through. So that was still really dangerous from Gamer, because if there was any type of CC, instant CC for the Kitten side, they could have locked him up and taken out the support. Drake will be spawning in about 2 minutes though, as this Rift Herald is being launched on the bottom side of the map. They will be able to get that turret, and now the Goobers working on this mid lane turret. That scaling, I think, is starting to come in for them just a little bit.
Yeah, most of their team has their mythics completed there. Kind of the same way across the entire map, where the top, the mid, and the AD carry has their mythics completed. Supports still working on their their mythic items, and then Black Cleaver plated steel caps for both junglers in this game. Pretty weird that you see this kind of, like, you know, symmetry on the scoreboard, but nonetheless, Random Capital is going to pick up that blue buff. And just a reminder of what is actually at stake in this game here. Both of these teams vying for that top 4 spot, trying to get that side selection in the first round of playoffs. So this matchup right here, and of course, and again, these two teams are tied in actual series score. So the winner of this will break that tie and get that little advantage going into the last week of regular season play. So definitely a lot on the line here. Dragon spawning in a minute, and you know there's gonna be more action.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for it. You know what? I already started drinking some water just to like make sure my throat was quenched up and everything. As Mouse Dixie there, looking to steal the Rift Arrow, will not be able to, and we'll have to expend that ultimate there to ensure the knockup or the bandage toss was not in range, and he didn't lose his life. You don't want to die that soon before the next neutral objective pops up. But at the same time, he no longer has his ultimate here to finish off any goobers who might have an executable health bar. So
Yeah, and the dragon spawning soon. I don't think his ult will be back up for the dragon. There's going to be a little bit of time here, but look at this. Crucially, Nameless has gotten into this river first. They have the positioning advantage right now.
Yep.
So we'll see if that makes a difference in this fight.
absolutely. Now, yeah, we'll see how the Bing Chiller side will respond here. Like RyChainz said, they usually are at the neutral objective first and then poke their opponents out before they take a fight. But this time they have to be that much more careful because the combined CC from the Goober side will completely obliterate them, in my opinion, if they get caught up. As Bingo Gamer goes in, he finds the stun onto 2. SHD though finds the ultimate on the backlight of the Goober side. Mouse Dixie and the rest of them looking for something. Red Milk Tea taking out the jungler here for the Bing Chiller side, but the Goobers have lost their support. It's the 4v4 right now. The Syndra is recalling. TP is up though for Random Capitals, who is TP back in. The Goobers still have priority on the Drake. The Kittens will have to retreat because they realize they just can't contest with the AoE and CC power of that pit. So they'll just give it to the Goobers free of charge.
Did you see if Mouse 60 ulted in that fight? I didn't see.
I don't know. His ult is still like coming off cooldown though. It wasn't back up, right? By that point?
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm not too sure. I think, you know, if Mouse 60 didn't ult that fight, an ult would have been nice to get away. But
his cooldown's only 53 seconds. So maybe he did.
Yeah, I think he probably had it back. But nonetheless, really good job there by Nameless getting into that river first, and you can see how much it actually mattered in that team fight, right? Able to actually win the fight, get the dragon, kill the enemy jungler, and just give up their support. So that's a trade you want to take every single day if you're Nameless here. Support for jungle around the neutral.
Absolutely, and what helped that as well was SHD found the flank on the backside of the Drake pit. He found Mouse Dixie looking for that angle to come in and steal the Drake, and when he found the Graves was like, oh crap, like I can't fight this guy one-on-one. So he dashes into the pit, rock, and a hard place, because where did he dash into? The Drake and the Goobers. And yeah, so they collapsed on him instantly, and that just made the fight that much more easier for the Goober side to take.
Gold lead back in the favor of Bing Chillers for the time being, about 1,000 for them. You see the pings coming out onto the Baron, which is likely the next neutral objective that'll be on the table here. Still over 3 minutes on that next Ocean Dragon. So for the time being, those sights are set on that quite yet. Rabadon's completed for Raise Cold is a key item. So, you know, Rabadon's makes Victor deal so much damage, especially that 2-item spike, 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. We'll see if Raise Cold can dish out the damage here. I'm not seeing any magic resist aside from the Merc Treads on Nameless's side right now. So, you know, Raise Cold can go crazy in a team fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If he's able to get them at least grouped up in a little ball here with that Chaos Storm, it will tear through these Nameless Goobers quite effectively. But of course, that has to happen first. And how does that happen at these neutral objectives? You get there first. I feel like for the Kittens, they had a little bit of a misstep there, not getting to that neutral objective first on their rotation. So they're going to have to be a bit more mindful of their back timers for this next neutral objective here. But in the meantime, just looking at the current map state here, RyChainz, I feel like because we've had a lot of tit for tat going on here, we haven't really talked about what both teams might look for here as we approach this late mid game phase, right? What do you okay, never mind. What do you think for the Goobers that they might want to look for as we approach this late game.
I mean, I think their plan is, we gotta find a pick. We have a lot of CC. We can get in and dive the back line. So we need to try and get a pick right there and not get poked out too much in the process. Ooh. But yeah, I mean, you saw Red Milk Tea there take about half their HP just from the Victor damage. On the other side, though, for Big Chillers, they were finding success getting to the neutral objectives first, finding their ability to set up, get their vision, and sort of play around the potential engage that's coming in from Nameless. It really hurts them, if they're getting engaged from Fog or if they're getting engaged when they're not set up. And I think that's what we've been seeing, at least in the most recent mid game, where Nameless has started to take control a little bit and started winning a few more fights. The gold lead's still in favor of Big Chillers, though, just because of the CS lead in pretty much every position besides support. But neutral objectives are evened up here in when it comes to the Dragons.
Yeah, those neutral objectives being even, and I know for the Big Chillers side, that's something they probably would not have preferred, but that is the nature of the game sometimes. So now they'll just have to adjust their strategy and plan better for the next one here. And look at that. Like we just said, Oreo Murder, Mouse Dixie, and Race Code already here. Younglin a little bit out on his own. Will have to find his way over safely, as the Goobers, though, they're looking for some vision, looking for a potential pick before this neutral objective starts up here. Lots of pings coming out, RyChainz.
Yeah, this is really good. I mean, Summoner Spell's up for everyone, so it's going to be a flashy team fight. All 10 flashes are available here. All ultimates are available as well here, and Younglin might get picked.
Ooh, okay, the cleanse saves him, but yeah, I don't. What is Younglin doing? Like,
this is bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
He needs to get with his team. If you have to go the long way around, do it. Arcane shift over the wolves or something, but your positioning right now is not the best, in my opinion. There it is. Yep.
Now on the flank.
On the flank as well. Keep your eyes on him. Bowling Gamer does mark him, though, looking for that stun to come through. But there's so much poke right now. Oh, as the Ezreal has been knocked up. J4 with the Cataclysm onto 3, and the backline of Big Chillers are being completely obliterated here. And actually, no, I lied. There's so much damage coming out, and the Kittens are taking out the Goobers one at a time here. Stet and Mouth 60 are the only ones left alive here. Red ADC looking to do the best he can, but it's not enough damage. That rock is too sturdy. The Graves as well, and there's only one member left here on the Goobers side. That Graves is really tanky. As Random Capanus takes out as Stet here, so it's just Mouse Dixie versus the mid laner here of the Nameless Goobers. Can the Syndra do it? The Scatter of the Weak connects. The Q does not. And they're just gonna stand off. Mouse Dixie, though, still working on this Ocean Drake. Does not have smite, though. Syndra has about half her mana bar, so plenty of rotation of spells to come through. There's now a TP coming through from Race Code, as well as SHD. Round 2 of this fight is going on. SHD looking for Scatter of the Weak, connects onto 2. Random Capitals will blast over, but no, it was the wrong move. Chaos Storm chasing out the Jax, and the Kittens will get the Ocean Drake this time around. Wow, what a fight.
I mean, it looked really good at the beginning for Nameless. I mean, they had the picks early. They were able to take down Raise Cold, but just diving too far in. And, at the end, it was 3v2 in their favor, but they were hitting Stet instead of Mouse Dixie. You got to kill the Graves in that situation. And if they did, I mean, they would have gotten the dragon for themselves here. Bowling Gamer might be caught out, though.
Bowling Gamer is definitely caught out as Mouse Dixie and Stet found a flank. Stet using that ultimate there onto the bird. Featherstorm is not going to do much as she's sent immediately to the gray screen. The Kittens here are playing these team fights so well, and their positioning on the map really well coordinated. I mean, now they're going to look for the Baron here.
That was crazy. They came from behind. They came from Nameless's side of the jungle, wrapped around behind them, and got the team fight win there. Just You know, Nameless had no idea. There were no chance there, and now SHD trying to get the
Ooh.
raise cold.
Ooh, SHD will get the shutdown onto the Victor though, and he will live.
Ezreal ult?
Ezreal ult
Oh,
does not connect.
really close. Barely missed. But Baron going over. Two big chillers there. They're gonna be wearing purple. They're marching down the lanes. Gonna try and extend this 4K gold lead that they have for themselves right now. And I mean, they're looking to be completely in the driver's seat off of this, despite Raise Cold going down in both of those fights, or at least, you know, both of the plays at the end, you know, still feeling very strong. The Victor has the Void Staff completed now, just picked up the stopwatch as well to buy a little bit of extra time if SHD and Red Milk Tea jump on the Victor like they've been doing in the past. But Red Milk Tea wants more.
Team looking for the engage so bad. That Cataclysm did connect onto 2, but there was just so much damage coming out from the Bing Chiller's side that Nameless Goobers could not advance anymore, and they will have to retreat here. RyChainz, the kittens are making our predictions look very wrong right now, and I'm here for it though, because you know it takes a lot of poise to manage a poke comp. I think in lower elos we would not see this happening. We would see the Goober side actually probably winning the game, you know, but the communication, the team play from being chillers here is proving at least us wrong and showing that poke comps still have a place in League of Legends here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the same thing that we see a lot with split push compositions or 4-1s, where a lot of it depends on how well the team can actually execute and if they've practiced it. Because a lot of the times you see people try and play split push compositions and you have the one who's on the side split pushing, but the 4 keeps getting caught out and losing the fights 4v5. And because of that, the split pusher can't really get anything done across the map. But yeah, like we're seeing, you know, like you said, we're seeing a lot of, you know, careful time and consideration being put into the moves coming out from Bing Chillers here, able to set up these objectives quite well, able to kite out the fights pretty well as well, and forcing Nameless to have to overextend and dive really deep to try and get these kills.
Yeah, and Nameless Goobers, I mean, I'm still comfortable to say that they have the better team composition in terms of CC. They have a lot of tools that they can use to lock down these Bing Chillers, but it's about the execution now at this point. Sure, your team can do the job, but can you make it happen? And so far, they haven't. Ocean Drake spawning in about 55 seconds here. The Goobers really need to shove up these side lanes here and get into that river first, so that way the kittens don't poke them out before they can even approach. But it might already be too late for that, as you see them encroaching on the red side of the jungle here for the Goobers.
4 items on Younglin. Oh, this Ezreal 3.5 on Raise Cold right now. Mal60 purchased the Elixir of Iron as well. So these big chillers feeling it. SHD gonna walk into the whole team.
SHD face checking as the ultimate comes through as well. The Chaos Storm, collateral damage, and the Jax is completely obliterated. Cataclysm does find 3, and it takes out Stet. Rare ADC and the rest of the Goobers still alive, looking for some damage. The Ezreal though, true shot barrage, not able to take out the Xayah here, but the mid laner and 80s carry from both sides will trade their lives.
4 for 2 in favor of Bing Chillers here. They're pushing down mid. It's only Rare ADC, and there's still 18 seconds left on Bowling Gamer, and you know, over 20 for everyone else, so they can look to end here, and I think that's what they're gonna do.
Bing Chillers looking for the end here. Mal60 is a very tanky boy. His ultimate back up again already. They're working on this second Nexus turret here. They will find it. Mal60 dashing forward. Bowling Gamer and the Xayah trying to do the best they can to save their Nexus, but it's not enough. Bing Chillers will take game 1.
Yeah, Bing Chillers taking game 1 and, you know, proving both of us to be wrong there. Looking very good, executing the comp very well, and not bleeding out much in the early game.
Yeah, I I that was really good from the chiller side. Chiller season.
Chilling season indeed.
Yeah, that was really well played from the chiller side. I mean, you, in my opinion, you don't even realize that they have a sub in the mid lane with Raise Cold. It's usually Kaiser ooh there. So yeah, it looks like horses don't stop. They just keep going. Everything's just gonna keep chugging along here for the chillers as they did take game one. Raise Code with a lot of damage coming through. 31k with Younglin following up there with about 27. So for the Goobers though, like you had all the tools, you just have to find that execution. You have to execute it a bit better. I think personally, I still think that they should not have allowed the kittens into those neutral objectives as they did, but it was just quite unfortunate for the Goobers here. So now they're gonna have to try and find a way to respond here for game two, because they do want to push this to three. Otherwise, kittens will have a 2-0 lead over them, and once again, this will change up the standings quite drastically here, and they'll lose that top four spot.
Absolutely. Good game overall here. And Bing Chillers taking game number one. We're going to throw it to a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back for the pick and the ban of game number two.
and I'm not, cause today I'll show you what I'm made of. Rise to the occasion. Got fears but no faith. I'll show you a heart full of fire. Looking at the fire. I'll show you what I'm made of. What I'm made of. Yeah. Now someone I'll show you what I'm made of. I'll show you.
Welcome back, everyone, and we are here live. As you can see, picks and bans are going, already coming through. A little bit of technical difficulties as we were trying to get the stream back on deck. You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. RyChainz. So, yeah, these bans are coming through here. And what does that tell you that we see so far from both teams?
I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same bands: Jinx, Thresh, Wukong taken off the table by Bing, Chillers. Oh, actually, I realize now what they were saying, and I put BG instead of BC. I didn't realize. It didn't connect.
Yeah,
It didn't connect when they were typing it. But on the other side, Gangplank, Cassiopeia, and Udyr. So same bands all the way across for this first first stage of the ban phase here. We got a side switch up this time, so we got Bing Chillers on the blue side this time. I did that on the prediction too, man. I'm all I'm just all over the place.
Taking care of it this time.
BG. I don't know why. I'm just feeling BG instead of BC, but Big Chill is gonna pick up that Graves for themselves once again in this game.
Stixie did pretty well on that champion. I don't see a reason why not to place him back onto it. And like we saw, that Graves is kind of tanky, man. I don't know. Gore Drinker Graves might need a little bit of a nerf.
Yeah, especially when you build a fleet footwork, it's you know.
So hey. Siri decided to troll me. Sorry about that.
How about the 16 passenger?
Hey, the hotel lobby, as we have a Kane pick, and he's gonna be dashing in and out through these rooms and walls on the rift here, looking for these ganks and orbs to check some of these kittens out of the rift.
I played the game I played a game today that had Kane ADC. It was crazy. They lost.
Okay, thank God. I was about to say, please don't tell me that one.
No, definitely not. I would never lose to a Kane ADC. Never once.
All right, so Varus is picked up here next for the Goobers, rare ADC on the on the darkened marksman here. We've been seeing I don't know too much about the Varus meta right now. I saw attack speed ADC Varus yesterday. Is it more attack speed or poke right now? What's the word on Varus particularly?
You can still play both, but I've been seeing more lethality.
Okay, so yeah, more of the poke Varus again.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it looks like for the kittens though, they're sticking to at least some of their familiar and winning ways that they had in game. Actually, hold on. Yeah, no.
Renata.
They had Syndra game 1, right? Yep.
Yeah.
No, they swapped. They had Victor game 1.
Oh,
they've taken the Syndra now for game 2.
Yes. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think Syndra's a pretty good champ.
Syndra's been really good. They're just
on the other side. We're just gonna swap the mid laners. There we go.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So with these first set of picks here, RyChainz, what are we gonna look to take off the table, and what are we gonna look to pick up for our next set of picks?
We do kind of have another mismatch in the first pick rotation here. So no top laners picked at all from anyone. Nameless still needing their support, and Bing Chillers still needing their ADC. So Obviously, top laners are going to be the main recipient of the bans. Malphite Fury are taken off the table. Ornn to follow it as well. And then, yeah, you don't want to face Jax again. Even though it didn't win, that champ was still pretty annoying, I say. Did a lot of work in the team fights here. So for Nameless, I expect this to be a support pick. I was wrong, I believe. No, I was right. It was a mid lane pick last game. But yeah, I expect this to be a support and to give counter pick to last pick. And Leona,
not yet till it's locked in.
not yet. Oh, all right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I am too. So Nameless here going with the Amumu once again for the bowling gamer. I mean, he did pretty well on the pick in my opinion, you know, finding some, especially towards the later stages of the game in these team fights and whatnot, finding these picks here. So hopefully we can see him be more effective earlier, as you were saying, RyChainz, maybe getting outside of the lane and looking for some picks with the jungler there on the Goober side as we await the Kittens last two picks here. Misfortune being locked in. So I like what they have for their bot lane. And once again, for the Kittens, they're going more so with the squishier comp. But you know what? This time around, I don't think there's any doubt in our minds, at least, that they can manage these compositions pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to do well with it early game. They weren't really getting picked much, and positioning very well around the engages and stuff like that. Singed is not what I expected to see coming out from.
But it is a staple. I've seen him play this quite a few times in our Diamond League last year. I'm not too sure if he was in the Diamond Tourney, so, but it doesn't surprise me to see the Singed for Stet here.
Yeah, but it is a pretty interesting pickup. Nonetheless, very niche. You know that if you're picking Singed, it's someone who knows how to play the Singed. I mean,
why do you think they first pick Singed?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Camille is.
No, I'm asking you. Why do you think they picked it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They're kind of crazy. From watching game one, they're just a little bit crazy. So I think that's probably why, if I had to give a guess.
I mean, also probably it looks like they might be going more so for the 4-1 split here. Singed, as we know, is a notorious proxy farming champion. Likes to go deep inside the rift here on the opposite side of the map and just take out those minions before they even make it to their next destination. So I'm expecting to see a lot of proxy farming, a lot of 4-1 split coming out on the Kitten side, as well as Stet looking for those flanks, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't exactly know the Singed versus Camille matchup like completely. I'm gonna look it up right now, but
go for it.
I mean, Singed win. So Camille is technically the counter matchup. It's about 51, a little over 51% win rate for Camille.
Which website are you looking that up on?
Lolalytics.
Okay, gotcha. I was just wondering which one.
Yeah, I'm not. You know, I don't really care too much about multiple sources. We'll just take my word for it.
Hey,
I'm no bibliographies here. Okay, no annotated. You know,
I just had to make sure if it wasn't coming from like mattg.com or something.
I mean, that is the most fraudulent matchup predictor that you can find anywhere on the internet. So keep that in mind. Just don't don't go to that site if you have the ability to. But yeah, I mean, Misfortune, I'm interested to see how that's going to play this game. Paired up with Renata, I think it's really good. Their ultimates synergize together really well.
Oh my god, I can just see it now.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, Varus,
the brainwashed bullet time. Ugh.
Exactly. Varus, you know, not the like best AD carry to be Renata ulting, but still, you know, pretty good. The ones that I think are funny are like when it hits a Jinx with rockets, and then like Jinx with rockets just one shots everyone on our team. That's always a pretty fun one, but not gonna get that one today. Victor versus Syndra, gonna be the same kind of thing that we saw in game one. You know, again, I'm kind of just looking at Red Milk Tea, because Kane, very different champion than Jarvan. Jarvan is, known for making those early ganks. Kane kind of wants to scale up and at least get that transformation in before like really, really taking fights. So we'll see. We'll see what the jungler wants to do on that aspect of it.
And speaking of because I was gonna actually talk about red milk tea once again as well. Speaking of what Kane wants to do, because Kane is not something you see too often here in amateur, and if you do see him, it's typically on players that either one trick him or like really play the champion a lot. So yeah, one trick him basically. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, RyChainz, though, based on the opponent's composition, this should most likely be a blue Kane we are looking at, right?
I think
I mean, red
it
Kane
could
probably
be
still
either.
be good.
It could be either.
Actually, I think it might. I think maybe red Kane would probably be better, actually. But I can't remember if the champion's range, you get blue orbs,
You
right?
get blue, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if he wants to farm red Kane, he's basically gonna have to camp top, or you still, of course, attack all these other champions, but wait for the timer for red Kane, which feels really bad. I think they kind of buffed it a little bit, so it's not that late anymore, but it's still gonna be a little bit of a delay. And I don't even know anything about purple Kane anymore at this point. Is that even a thing, or is that like dead now?
I haven't seen it much.
Okay.
But I'm not, I am not the avid Kane expert, unfortunately.
Somebody get called to Sutek. Where's Sutek at?
Yeah, exactly. I just before we throw to a break here, I'm looking at Red Milk Tea's matches or op.gg for the past 3 seasons. There are 6 Kane games, and it is 1-5 game record. So
he probably plays it on an alt.
It has to be, it has to be on a different.
At least
account.
I hope. I'm gonna say that as a measure of good faith.
Yeah, but we'll see when we get into the game what goes on. Of course, if Bing Chillers take game 2, they will be victorious. They win the set. Nameless trying to force a game number 3. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back.
your Philly full of dread till you go. I love to do just what I want. Do it when you say I won't. Come and watch me move it. I promise I'ma make you lose it. Looking at me, now come get it. Like what you see, then you got good vision. Boy, this beat hits so different. Let me show you what you've been missing. If you love the party, then the party's in the place. Got the boom, got the bass. I'ma shake it in your face. Yeah, love the party and I love to make a break. Got the boom, got the bang. You could take that to the bank. Going down, dee dum dum dum, dee dum dum dum, dee dum dum dum. Watch the drum go down, dee dum dum dum, dee dum dum dum, dee dum dum dum.
Welcome back, everyone, as we are here live for game 2 in our advanced league. It is Bing Chillers on the blue side against Nameless Goobers on the red. And it's just going to be a 5-champ lineup here in across both sides of the river. Everyone just saying hi. Oh, a little bit of auto trading between Mouse Stixie and Redakted. But before we get too deep into the game, as usual, RyChainz, you know the drill.
Yes, I'm ready this time.
That cane rune, or yeah, go ahead.
I'm ready this time. I learned from last game. Kane with the Dark Harvest, you know, red
That's
milk
blue cane
tea.
then, right? That's gotta be blue.
Yeah, should be blue Kane. Should be blue Kane. Which will be interesting, which means that I expect to see a lot of fighting in the jungle and also on the bottom side of the map for red milk tea.
Wait, say that one more time.
I expect that red milk tea is gonna try and be fighting in the jungle a lot against Graves and
Yes,
on the bottom side of the map to get those blue orbs.
absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. As soon as I saw the Dark Harvest, that is a clear, and I'm sure as soon as they saw it too, they know instantly, like, okay, this cane is going blue, which means we're gonna expect a lot of fights here. So hopefully at some point they start getting some vision into the jungle, whether on their side or his side, so that way they can keep track of this assassin here and know how to react to him as he moves across the map.
Yeah, gonna be spotted out actually on that ward that Stet put down in the bush behind SHG's tower. So they know that red milk tea started on the top side of the map here. Both junglers end up doing that in this all important game number 2 here. And for now, just trading back and forth here. A little bit of priority on the clear for red milk tea. So that's sticking pretty low. But I feel like that's just how Singed kind of works. You're never really full HP on Singed.
I guess the stream froze on Twitch, so
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's still frozen, but it's frozen right now at just 29 seconds. So Art, if you're there, just letting you know. But I guess in the meantime, RyChainz, we'll just cast this as if it's live and push on from there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of big team fights happening. It's very bloody. Deaths all over the place. Because a lot of stuff happened in the first 3 minutes of this game.
Okay. It looks like our producer is working through the technical difficulties here. So while he's doing that, we did see Kane there at some point make his way towards the bottom side of the map. They're looking for a potential gank onto Youngland and Oreo Murderer. Was not able to find the opportunity, so he just recalled here, got himself a longsword and a tier. I do not know blue cane builds, like, at all. I don't know anything. Is that's a thing now on blue cane, Manamune?
Yeah, I mean, this might actually be red cane with oh, here we go, gank mid.
Potential gank mid as random capitals would have to flash away. Mouse Stixie is here, and there's the fight, but the cane does not want it right now at this time. and Mouse Dixie was able to get the scuttle as well. Kane though did get some orbs, so that's still a little bit of a positive impact for him, as Younglin using these pistols here, laying down the damage onto Bowling and Rare ADC respectively. The Bing Chillers side definitely putting the pressure onto their respective lane opponents this time around compared to game 1.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, we get another gold lead for Bing Chillers in this early game. For the majority of that early game of game number 1, you know, they had about a couple hundred gold lead there.
Yeah.
Now the league game just stuttered. We didn't even have a pause and the league game just stuttered.
Yeah, so a lot of shenanigans going on right now between internet providers
Stet
and
is
small
dying
indie
or what?
companies, as Stet and SHD were battling it out there on the top side of the map. Red Milk Tea once again collecting more orbs, just fighting right now. Red Milk Tea is not even looking to like get a kill. He's just looking to fight to once again, like you said, RyChainz, farm up these orbs here so that way he unlocks that transformation pretty quickly.
Yeah, you want to get that. First dragon of this game is the Chemtech. And ooh, a lot of damage in, but early level 6 from Raise Cold means that there is always kill threats on the Syndra, but not gonna go for anything yet here. And
yeah,
for the time being, just chilling.
Yeah, and for the viewers at home, once again, our production team is aware of the issues going on. He is working on it, so just have some patience. But I was told you guys can still hear us, so at least you get our wonderful voices. Well, as we narrate this game for you, Bowling Gamer did flash forward, finds the bandage toss onto Younglin here, but first blood goes over to the Bing Chillers ADC with the Renata steroid. They're not able to get the bailout, and Nameless Goobers are going to be 2-0'd in the bot lane, but they were able to get Younglin, so 2 for 1 in the bot lane here. But still, the Bing Chillers getting 2 kills onto that Misfortune here at 7 minutes into the game is gonna be pretty good.
2 kills on the Misfortune, already picking up Noon Quiver and Pickaxe at 7 minutes. That's a lot of gold.
Yeah, you got to be even more
feels good.
descriptive since until the gameplay comes back.
Yeah,
you got to let them know like
exactly
what the map color looks like and everything. Is there rain? As SHD and Step find themselves in a little bit of a tizzle here. Red Milk Tea and the Camille are not able to chase because that poison is pretty dangerous. As Bing Chillers did claim the Chemtech Drake, Cloud Drake now next on the menu here. As Stet once again starting that proxy farming here, but SHD will not have it. Ignite launch, but the sweep does not connect, so he's not slow. Red Milk Tea in chase, but the tower able to take out the cannon minion here and takes out Stet, who got a bit too big for his britches. So that will be a kill given over to the top laner here for the Goobers.
Right now, it's a 1.2 thousand gold lead in favor of Bing Chillers. All right, we're gonna do a we're gonna restart the stream real quick, so we'll be back. But,
okay, yeah, everyone. So we're gonna restart the stream. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Just hang tight. We'll be back, and yeah, hopefully you can see some more of this action going down.